Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow at 11 AM Eastern Time or 4 PM UK time, we're gonna finally see what Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to look like in a gameplay video. Very excited to see this, obviously, so if you're wanting to see that as well, my personal advice would be to try to go on the YouTube channel, because I'm not entirely sure how well the Rockstar servers are going to hold up against the massive amount of traffic that will be coming through their website around that time. For the best quality, it is of course a good idea to watch it on the official Rockstar Newswire website, because that is where the uncompressed version will be uploaded. With that said, there's also new information that came out yesterday with a interview that was done about the open world philosophy of Red Dead Redemption 2 in a German game magazine called GameStar. Since having an open world is nothing special today and size doesn't make the game great, No Man's Sky for example, Rockstar Games set out to make their open world different than any other. With Red Dead Redemption 2 they want to create the deepest, most detailed, believable and interactive open world they could ever build. Everybody and everything needs to be believable, from the barkeeper of the local saloon to the plebble that descends on a slope or tiny frogs hopping around. Rockstar's philosophy is that players in their open worlds are increasingly likely to lose themselves, distract them from real tasks, but not to be torn away from the gaming experience. If you set up your own personal camp in a dangerous area, for example near a group of people that don't like guests near that area, you will experience a very different situation than before, because you'll just be in the wrong place, even if you thought that you've been everywhere and seen everything. Next to similar buildings like a barn that is a building process on the first site but will be finished as you will come back later, as we heard before, villages and even towns will change over time. If you complete a mission, for example, with your gang members, you will see them returning to the daily schedule instead of just disappearing and walking nowhere without a specific destination. Every major character exists in the world and not just in missions. This is inspired, of course, by the Michael house and his life of his family. You can see your family in-game and not just in missions. In Red Dead Redemption 2 they are expanding on this idea. The transition from free-roam open world gameplay to mission and cutscenes is even more fluid and seamless than GTA 5. All types of missions, cutscenes and general open world should feel like an organic parts of the same thing. There's no clear distinction between them like in other games. NPCs are unpredictable and believable in their own actions and reactions. They have different temperaments. There will be shy people who will give their money without you even drawing your gun, but there's also more aggressive people who will immediately attack you if you just antagonize them also without you drawing a gun. Some confident NPCs may just pass you and ignore you if you try to rob them. Some may shoot you, while others will first threaten to harm you. Rockstar wants you to feel like you never know how a certain NPC will interact with you, and with that Rockstar wants to encourage you to test out different playstyles. You can be an honorable thief or a violent psychopath and the world will react accordingly, but you just never really know how they will react. Rockstar doesn't want to call the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 a sandbox, because in a sandbox you can do whatever you want. Sure, Rockstar wants to give you a lot of freedom. In their open world you can do whatever you want, but as long as it makes sense for Arthur, his story and the world itself. Nothing should break the immersion. There will be no checklist type of missions like Ubisoft games or Mass Effect Andromeda. Rockstar doesn't think in categories like content and preferable content. They want to blur the lines between everything the player does in order to increase immersion. Rockstar doesn't necessarily want you to know when you're doing a main or a side mission or when you are interacting with a main character or just an NPC, but they will inform you in a very subtle way about it. There will be many optional things to do, but Rockstar wants them to just be as high quality, engaging, as fun as main missions, and you should feel like you never know what to expect. This will cater to all kinds of players, those who want to rush the main story and those who want to do everything and still have a great experience. Random encounters aren't really random. There is a certain system in place that ensures that these encounters make sense in terms of how far the player has progressed in the story, what they're currently doing and what they're heading into. The changing surroundings and random encounters provide content for the players that makes them lose themselves in the world in a very organic way and naturally provides gameplay for them, in contrast to the very forced checklist side quest in other games. The areas in the game not only feel different because of the looks, but also because of the different gameplay mechanics only possible in that area. like different animations for traversing different terrain or flora, or different objects to interact with. Since animation influences how connected you feel to the world, Rockstar focuses on making them as believable and as fluent as possible in every situation. For example, there's an animation for Arthur stowing his weapons, which he had previously strapped around his back and in the halter of his saddle. And there will be different skinning animations for different animals. Things you should do in missions can be done in the open world. For example, in trailer 2 we see Arthur pushing a band manager through the door. You can do exactly that with every other NPC in free roam. Even outside of missions and cutscenes, you can still listen in on conversations in your gang's camp, or approach them more closely so that the other outlaws can include Arthur in the chat. The camp, the atmosphere, and the conversations should change notably in the course of the story. Instead of slaughtering animals without hesitation, in order to be able to craft a larger wallet, the creatures in Rockstar's Western game are living beings with simulated feelings. You should always be aware of the players when they press the trigger or let the arrow zoom. To kill animals quickly without much suffering, you will need to take your time to learn the right techniques. If you commit a crime and the lawmen have a hunch that you are the offender, they will first talk to you instead of shooting you instantly, and you can talk yourself out of the situation. And that's like the summary of what was in the magazine. There's a lot of other interesting tidbits to read as well, so I'll leave the link down below like I mentioned before. So definitely give that a read if you're interested in hearing some more little things about the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. It's sounding like it's gonna be quite the game with a lot of detail, if I guess is the right word for it. I think it would be an understatement to say that, to be honest with you, but I gotta say, this just looks like one of those games that's gonna take a good few playthroughs to get through and start really understand what the game is all about and what it has to offer. But unfortunately, I think that no matter how much you're gonna play this game, I don't think you're ever going to see everything. And I guess in a way, that's a good thing, but that's also a bad thing. I'm not too sure how everyone else feels about that, because you'll never be able to experience the entire game, if that makes sense. But then again, like you have in GTA 5 or any other game that is made by Rockstar, there's always something new that you, I guess, can experience like you never done before. So with all that said and done, thank you so very much for watching. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all later.